What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Hangin with Maddie D. I have a lady in the house who blew me off on Sunday, but she came back and she redeemed herself, so she came here Wednesday in the midst of a heat wave. It's probably a little bit cooler that weather-wise that she came on Wednesday rather than Sunday, but
it was strategic.
She's a familiar face here in San Diego. On the internet, I'm pretty sure you work for the Chive, if I did my research correctly. Is that correct or incorrect?
No.
No, okay. So never mind. Forget what I'm saying.
I did stuff with the Chive, but it wasn't really paid.
Okay, cool. So pro bono work that she did. But yeah, she works for Fox 5. She is a master diver. Dive master. I'm sorry. We already went over that and I got it wrong already. But she's all around pretty freaking awesome, and I'm glad we got her in the house tonight in the studio. But we're gonna get her rocking and rolling. Miss Tabitha Lipkin is in the house with us tonight. Tabitha, thanks for coming on and doing this with me.
Oh, thank you so much. I feel bad. Elephant in the room. Totally forgot we were scheduled to do this another day.
I'm just not important
Rescheduled.
enough.
It is cooler, so again, very strategic, and I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming on. I'm excited. I'm excited for this one.
Free LaCroix. That's the only reason I came.
Is it LaCroix or LaCroix?
I think it's LaCroix.
Yeah, see, it's one of.
We're not French.
It's like, but is it like black and gold, blue and gold, or is it white? You know what I'm saying? It's like that dress that comes on that everyone was having the fits about and stuff like that. But so you're no stranger to the heat. So you're from Austin, Texas. Is this correct?
Yeah, I graduated school from Austin.
Oh, where are you from? Are you from Texas originally?
I'm from Texas originally. I'm from a small town called Texarkana, Texas.
Texarkana. Where's that near?
That is the furthest northeast tip of Texas. So right there where Texas hits Arkansas.
Northeast. So not like the rectangle part that goes up into.
No.
Okay, that's like where it means like Oklahoma.
That's
or whatever.
Northwest.
Okay. So northeast. So you're a northeasterner from Texas.
Northeastern Texan.
Yeah. So you went to school at UT. Right?
I did.
Okay. Graduated at Longhorn. So what brought you out here?
Working kind of in the industry. I originally came out because I interned for Conan on TBS my senior year of college, and that brought me to LA. I jumped to New York for the summer and worked for the Colbert Report, and then I had to choose between New York or LA, and I chose LA, and I came back.
All right. So we're not going to act like that's small jobs that you just mentioned, but so which one did you like better?
I get that question a lot. You know, it's like comparing oranges. Get it? Cause it's apples, but because it's New York. They were very different experiences. I really liked the Colbert internship because it was a smaller class of interns. So there was only like 12 of us versus at Conan there was almost 40 of us. So there's a big difference in that kind of group mentality. But I learned so much from both, and I could never choose, like having two kids that are different.
Okay.
Yeah.
But those are great experiences to get on those too.
Yeah, it was. I was very fortunate. I don't even know how else to say it. I got denied actually from The Daily Show. And I remember it was my senior year. I really wanted to intern for The Daily Show. I didn't get it. And I'm someone who doesn't take no well.
Okay.
And I remember being really upset at myself because I knew I'd messed up the interview process. And it was a life lesson too because they asked very simple questions that I should have known the answers to. Like
what? So, okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Like why do you want this internship, and what would you do with this internship? Things that when you're in college and you're so overwhelmed with school and work and stuff, when you sit down to finally do an interview, you think of all the other things that they may ask, but not necessarily like very poignant, like who inspires you as a comedian or this or that. And
they asked you that stuff?
Yeah, they did.
Who'd you say?
It was so long ago. All I knew is I did not do well in the interview. I got a hard no very quickly, but that opened another door where I ended up getting an internship on Conan instead. So that was a very different life path. And then I ended up getting to go to the Colbert Report, which at the time I liked more anyway. So it was cool that it worked out that way. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, that's good. Because you were planning on going into broadcast journalism. Is that what your forte is in, I guess?
Yeah, the goal is ultimately to work in late night or to have my own type of late night show. So I started working for them because I wanted to see how everything worked.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably awesome. We just did the NBC tour. I'm from New Jersey. I grew up in Bergen County right outside New York City. So we went to NBC Studios and we did the I guess 30 Rock tour.
Yeah, it's a great tour.
Yeah, have you been on it?
Yeah, I've been on it twice.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so we did that, and we got to see. Growing up there, like I don't realize, until I get out here how much stuff goes on across the river. But
right.
Yeah, with that it was cool. We got to see. Nothing was going on because it was the summertime, but we saw the Saturday Night Live stage. We saw Jimmy Fallon's studio, which is really cool.
Today Show, they take you down to the Today Show?
No, they didn't take us down to the Today Show. They probably didn't like us that much.
Yeah.
But no, we did that. We did who did we do? We did Fallon, we did Saturday Night Live, and I can't think of what the other one we did was. But it was cool because I guess I don't know if they're interns there, but
they're pages.
Pages. So is that the same thing as the intern program?
Yeah, it's a different. I mean, everyone, every company has their own thing, but being an NBC page in the broadcast world is considered like a very big deal.
Yeah, because they were taking it very seriously, and I was
mm-hmm.
like, "Is this a big deal for me?" He's like, "Yeah, man." He's like, "The biggest part of it is to see that a lot of the big names that come through NBC and stay with NBC started at this position. So it's nice to see that." Even people who are at the top started at the bottom and they climbed their way up. So it gives them hope, I guess, with that stuff. It was cool, man. It was cool seeing those studios and stuff like that and behind the scenes. I wish we could have obviously seen one of them live.
Right.
But, so were you there every night with them? Or is it more of...
Which one?
Both shows. Are you...
No, it's kind of like a work or school. I remember for Colbert, I was there 4 nights a week, and for Conan I think it was all 5, but neither show films on Fridays, so Fridays were always like prep days, or they were like get things ready for the next show week, things like that.
Yeah, nice. So you went Conan, you went back to New York City, and then you came back to LA. Did you come back to LA to work for Conan, or were you...
In a way. So do you know what a stage manager is?
I'm guessing someone who manages the stage.
Yeah, so even for like shows like Conan, you have someone who's kind of behind the scenes and in charge of making sure Conan gets where he's supposed to be on time, as if he doesn't know where to go, but also that talent's where they need to be on time. If there's a band, everything's set up type of person.
Are you running around with the headset on?
Yeah, running around with a headset, making sure everyone has like cue cards or whatever they need. It's all good to go. So I became really good friends with a stage manager there, and she gave me a lot of work, and she saw a lot of promise in me. And I remember it came down to me and this guy named Evan. And Evan was the son of La Bamba from Conan, the guy who plays the trombone.
Okay.
His sidekick, basically, when he was on the Late Late Show. She was like, I can make one of you a stage manager and get you into the Directors Guild, and I have kind of a position for one of you. And we were both working for her at the time, doing live shows like the Teen Choice Awards and all these other things, and sometimes helping her out on Conan. And I knew I wanted to be in front of the camera, and so I kind of tapped out, and I told Evan, I was like, it looks like this is your thing, man. I've got another journey to go on, and now he is that guy. He's doing
really?
He's doing a lot of shows, and he's a good friend and a great guy.
Yeah, that's awesome for Evan. But that's awesome that you
I knew pretty early.
But you knew what you wanted to do, and as it wasn't your path, and so where did that take you after being over there?
Well, knowing that when you want to work in broadcast, there's a lot of different ways, I guess, you can go about it now. But that time, social media was kind of different, and it was only like 5 years ago.
What year? So we're talking
2012, 2013.
Okay.
And so, if you want to be in broadcast, you start in a small market. And even though I lived in LA, I was determined not to be one of those people. I could not stand people who were struggling actors and actresses waiting tables, and I felt like watching them waste their time and their lives. So I took a on-air reporter job in Palmdale, California, which is in LA County, but it's an hour outside of LA into the high desert. And that's where I got my on-air start.
So are you saying with the whole Hollywood LA scene where everyone struggles, do you think that happens because people have too much pride to work in a smaller market like you do? Or do you think that they think they're better than that? Not that they're better than that they don't want to do the small work to get to where they need to be? Because I feel like that's a very common thing, is being a struggling actor or personality or something like that in
Well, I think it also is attributed to being an actor is very different than being a broadcaster, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to school and I have a path and I know there is a way for me to get into bigger markets and to get noticed. When you're an actor, sure, you can do stage productions, you can do community theater, but there's no real path to be like, hey, I want to be the next Sandra Bullock. Mm-hmm.
It's just luck of the draw.
It's kind of luck of the draw, and your odds increase greatly in doing the things you want to do when you leave areas that everyone is competing against you in. Mm-hmm. So I would not ever encourage like an actor and actress to go to LA and hope that they're going to live the dream. I would say go to other places that are equally as great, like Austin, New Orleans. Start working there, do the things you want to do, and then when you have enough people behind you, go to LA.
Yeah. I feel like it's in the comedy world too. I follow the comedy world like huge, and the Comedy Store is obviously the mecca of where they all go in Hollywood, and it's all these guys that come there. None of them are from really I mean, there are some obviously that are from LA, but everyone's really good where they're from, and then they see if they can really hack it when they get to the Comedy Store in Hollywood, and that's when you knew, I think, you really made it as a comic, is when you got accepted there, because that's where the boom happened. That's where all like the best names are.
Oh yeah.
And it's even the biggest names that do comedy now, and you see them on Netflix and everything like that. They're still Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. They're still doing a $15 spot at the Comedy Store just because they have to, because it's pretty much free work for them, I guess you could say.
What's interesting that you say that is, do you know who Brent Morin is?
Yeah.
So Brent Morin was the person I told you about, the stage manager. He worked under her as well.
Oh, okay.
And I was an intern, and he was like basically the fill-in. His job was to be everywhere that Conan would be and take the lights and make sure everything was set up for the day. And I remember going to his shows, and he'd be like, hey, Tabs, like you and a friend, like, come see my show. Yeah. It is a 2-drink minimum, but like, if you don't have the money, it's like fine. Just come anyway. He would always give me tickets and stuff, and then before I know it, here he is, Brent Morin. Like he's doing big things, and people are taking notice.
He was on the sitcom with Chris D'Elia.
Yeah,
and he's on Netflix too. He's got like a 30 or 15 minute special on the stand-ups or something like that.
Exactly. And what's interesting, not saying if he can do it, anyone could do it, but that's like a perfect example of someone who like was able to actually make it happen.
Yeah, that's the best part. Though. Yeah. I think that's when you appreciate it so much more, is when you do come from that rather than just having everything thrown in their plate and stuff. Mm-hmm. So you're in Palmdale, and then what happened? What kind of news are you reporting?
Palmdale is a high crime area.
Okay.
A lot of crime, a lot of politics. And I quickly became weekend anchor and reporter. And the best part, I think, of working in Palmdale was I did everything. People don't understand the concept of no one else was in the building, but I had to shoot, I had to write, I had to edit, I had to turn on the camera, run behind the desk, anchor pieces, then take those pieces, put them into the editing bay, cut the intros and tags for things, because it wasn't a live show, lay everything down into a rundown, and then it would run on a 30-minute loop.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're how old at this point?
22.
Jesus.
Yeah.
That's good for you, though. You get to learn all the ins and out of the business pretty much, rather than just being a pretty face in front of the camera. Like, it's just, you know how everything works.
And I wasn't cute at the time either. The pretty thing is a new thing.
So
stay in Southern California long enough, you have to start competing.
So how long did you do that for?
6 months.
And then what happened?
Then a couple of different family things happened, but I ended up coming to San Diego. And I did not come to San Diego for broadcast. I came to San Diego as a jetpack instructor.
Okay.
With no broadcast options on the table. And about 4 months into being a jetpack instructor in Mission Bay, I had still kind of put fillers out for being in the world again, and I got picked up by CW6, which was a station that used to run here.
They're no longer, correct?
They shut down, and then CBS bought out the affiliate name. It's kind of complicated how that works, but basically our station got shut down, everyone went somewhere else, and they now own the name, but it's a totally different thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So jetpack instructor, for those of you who don't know what it is, she flies up in the air with water shooting out onto her, pretty much flying over the bay. You can't really do it in the ocean because it's too crazy. But yeah, that's fucking. It was a
good job.
So speaking of water, though, you won 2014 Miss Scuba International. Did I get that right?
You got that right.
So what is that? I mean.
Gosh.
You have awesome Instagram pictures, by the way. You're like underwater, like scuba diving.
Yeah, that's also a weird long story. I went to compete in the Miss Scuba International pageant in 2014. This was in November. A friend of mine who had done it the year before said, "Hey, the U.S. needs a representative. Would you be interested in doing it? We can't hold a pageant, so we kind of just elect someone to go." And she was like, once you pay for your flight and you get there, she's like, everything is taken care of for 2 weeks in Malaysia. Like, your stay, like your food, everything. She's like, the only thing, like, you have to have the pageant stuff that you need. And then she's like, honestly, I maybe spent $100 on gifts because the exchange rate is pretty vastly different. And I was like, oh, perfect. And at the time, a ticket to Malaysia seemed almost impossible to secure. It was like $1,500, but through friends and family, I was able to secure a sponsorship with Body Glove, and they paid my ticket. I went, and somehow I won.
Did you just have to be a female scuba diver, or is there qualifications that you have to have?
Well, I competed against 15 countries, so all of them, yes, but I think the qualifications were female scuba diver in this beauty pageant, and I was the only non-pageant girl there. Everyone else was like a pageant girl.
As in, like they've done that their whole life
yeah.
Stuff like that?
For maybe not their whole lives, but they were in the pageant circuit, and they had won their local levels. I say local, but they had won their countries to go to the international pageant. So I was competing against, like, Venezuela and Thailand and China and the UK.
What does it entail, though? What are you guys actually scuba diving? Or is
it?
Oh, okay.
So it's kind of a hard thing. Like, scuba diving is not a sport that you can really judge. You either do it or you don't do it, and you do it well, and you're a thoughtful diver, and you make sure that you're aware of conservation efforts, and you're not picking things up and disturbing your environment, or you're not. And so you spend basically a week diving, and I took full advantage of that. It's at a place called Sipadan in Malaysia, which is, Jacques Cousteau said, was one of his favorite dive spots in the entire world. So getting to dive on that dive spot, God, I'm so fortunate for that. Did that for a week, and then we actually went to the main area of Kota Kinabalu, which is the other big city in Malaysia besides Kuala Lumpur.
Okay.
And in Kota Kinabalu, there was a full week of pageantry and one final night that you would imagine if you were watching, like, the Miss Universe pageant or something like that. It was like that. There was bikinis and evening gowns and questions and talents and all that. Okay. Oh, yeah. It was a whole thing.
Damn.
Yeah, it was quite the thing.
Yeah, so that's a cool experience.
Yeah.
Did you go back for round 2 in 2015, or did you not?
It's not like that. You can't you don't defend your crown or anything. I've been back to Malaysia probably 3 or 4 times after that, and I got my dive master certification in Malaysia at Sipadan, which means I was diving in Sipadan 3 times a day for like 4 weeks, and like, when I look back on my life, I'll be like, damn, like, that's so cool that worked out.
Yeah, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Especially to me, I'm like, oh, that sounds crazy. But for you, obviously, that's like a big spot to dive.
Fish and turtles and sharks and, like, everything that you imagine you want to see in crystal clear water with bright corals. And it's, like, it's pristine because it's protected. And whereas a lot of, like, the other areas in Southeast Asia are not so protected and they're kind of dirty.
Yeah, because I saw that documentary about how they have all the corals dying or something like that. Did you see that documentary?
There's many on them, but yeah.
Is that true? Is that like a pretty big problem?
Coral bleaching, basically the rise in water temperature is bad for the coral. Overfishing, trawling, like everything kind of affects coral, and coral is like basically the building blocks of life for the ocean. So it's important to keep that in mind.
Yeah, that's interesting. So you're also a zipline instructor, is this correct?
That's true. That was back in college. I was a zipline instructor. You dug deep.
Yeah, I gotta do my research. I can't have you on. I have nothing to talk about. You know what I'm saying? But so you were at in Palmdale, right? Is that where we got to? And then you came to San Diego just to be a jetpack instructor with the hopes of probably getting somewhere around here on TV. Where did that take you?
So I worked at CW6 for a while. If you want the exact timeline, I can walk you through it. So I went from Palmdale, ended up in San Diego. At the beginning of 2013, I was working as a weekend producer and writer that I would barely get to be on camera for one segment every 30 minutes, but that was a big deal at the time. Worked my way up to being getting to do weekend live reports. Eventually, at CW6, I also started doing weather. So let's fast forward a year. I go do the Miss Scuba thing. I win, and then I go traveling with Miss Scuba basically for a year.
Oh, wow.
That was 2015. And in 2015, I also was able to secure my own travel show for AWE TV, which is based out over on Morena here in San Diego. And I was a weekend anchor for a station that is a nationally broadcast station. And then when they shut down the travel side, I just stayed on the broadcast side. And then I went back to CW for a little bit and worked for both. And then I worked for, when CW closed down, I was still at the other broadcast station and got picked up by Fox 5 in March of last year.
So you've been with them ever since?
Yeah, I've been with Fox 5 as soon as they brought me on full time last October. Never looked back because I really like my job.
Yeah, you seem to.
I love Fox 5.
So are you doing just sports at Fox 5?
No.
Or what you said you were doing midday news or midday?
Today I did midday weather.
Okay.
So I do a little bit of everything for them. It's funny, when they hired me, I remember my boss being like, if you take this job, you're only going to do sports. And I was like, okay, I got it. I want to work here so bad. That's fine. But I think he knows I'm kind of easily bored. It's in some level, and I like to do lots of things. So then he comes to me a couple months later. He's like, hey, Heather Lake is going on maternity leave. Do you want to fill in for her while she's gone and do morning feature reporting? So I did that for like 3 months, and when she came back, started splitting my time between sports and weather. So kind of all over the map, but I enjoy it because I like to mix things up every week.
Yeah, it changes. It's not like the same thing over
Exactly.
and over and over again. So are you a sports girl?
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your favorite sport?
What would be like what do you mean? No, am I a sports girl? Do I play? Do I watch?
Come on. I mean, like, are you doing sports just because that was the opportunity, or do you truly like sports and want to report to sports?
Yeah, I also I totally forgot that I worked at Fox Sports San Diego at one point in time. That was in there somewhere like 2015 as well. But yeah, and I think sports is fascinating because I think there's a lot of positivity in sports, and it balances news really well. So in this kind of world we're in now, where I feel like there's a lot of negative news stories, there's always seems to be some really great sports stories, and people like to hold on to that kind of stuff.
Is it dried out the category for you a little bit since the Chargers have left?
No, because we've taken on the Rams, so we're actually the media partners with the Rams here.
Oh, so will you go up there and report for the Rams, or do you do everything from the studio?
It depends on the day. Like at weekends, I'm in studio, but like next Wednesday, for instance, I'll likely go up and report on the Rams just ahead of their game coming up on the 18th. Preseason.
That's fun. I'm extremely jealous of you because you're like in the position which I want to try and get to one day. That's why.
Do you want to be a sports broadcaster?
I don't necessarily want to be a sports broadcaster. I just think it's I've been constantly applying, and this is why I asked you what you got your degree in, and I want to go into it a little bit. Is I don't know how you would know better than I would on how necessary it is to have a degree in broadcast journalism to be a reporter or be a TV personality or something of that sort. Do you think if you didn't have your broadcast journalism degree, you'd be able to do what you are now?
I don't think I would have gotten this far without my degree, especially in the beginning, because that's kind of all you have to rely on is, hey, I have this that I worked really hard for and paid $80,000 for. I don't know why I paid $80,000 for it, but I did. And I would say that that's not necessarily true that you have to go to broadcast school. You can learn a lot there, but it's all about basically knowing your shit. Like if you know how to accurately report things and you know how to be on TV and to be comfortable, then that is a skill set that honestly cannot be learned in school. I know people who have done so many things and got their masters and even have gone as far as trying to get their doctorate, but they just don't know how to act when a camera is on, and that's very interesting. So if you're comfortable enough, you can work in almost any medium. It's just a matter of doing it.
Yeah. Do you like being in front of the camera? I'm guessing obviously.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you get like your makeup done and all that? Does all that stuff happen or?
Not anymore. I used to work at a place they did it, but now I do it myself.
You do it yourself?
Yeah.
That's cool, man. That's cool. I'm curious because I'm trying to like break into that.
I think you would be great for radio. You can also start in radio and transition.
Yeah, but radio's dying.
No.
You don't think so?
If someone came to me and offered me a job in radio, I would be like...
I would 100% take it. There's no doubt in my mind. But at the same time, I think people are listening less to the radio and How many do you listen to the radio when you're driving your car?
Absolutely.
You don't use your iPod or your phone to play music?
Not here.
Really?
I think the radio here is solid, and I would argue that more people listen to the radio in San Diego than watch the news in San Diego.
Interesting.
I
Why do you
definitely
think that?
so. It's just so it's interesting. They do studies on, viewership and listeners and things like that. And the last one that came out suggested that the stations through iHeart were doing incredibly well.
Just in the San Diego area or everywhere?
Yeah, the ones in the San Diego area were doing really well.
Yeah. It's interesting. I don't know if you know Frankie. You know Frankie Vissel? Mm-hmm. Okay, good, because that motherfucker hasn't come on my podcast yet, and he keeps
Why not?
Procrastinating.
Why? Do you want me to call him out right now?
No, we won't call
Frankie. I know Frankie very well.
Okay.
Frankie, what are you doing?
Yeah, that motherfucker. I don't know him yet, but he's from the East Coast too, so he'd understand.
Yeah, you guys would be great together.
But yeah, I fucking wanted to get on. I had his buddy PJ on, who he's friends with, but he's so busy. But I know he drives up to LA and stuff like that.
He is a busy guy.
Yeah. But I definitely want to get him on because I want to pick his brain as well with the way he goes.
Yeah.
But you really think that that radio is still?
Absolutely. I think it's a very good medium to be in.
Maybe it's just because I listen to the podcast all the time. That's what it probably is. I'm not the normal person.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
you're kind of an exception. But also now pretty much every radio station or every radio show has a podcast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are putting their foot on both ends and saying, all right, we're digital. We're also on your radio waves. Here's what we got.
Yeah, because they need to be. I think it's because the times are changing. Does Fox have a podcast or anything like that?
No, but honestly, that wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, even if they did. Are they on YouTube?
We have our own app, and we have a live streaming thing.
Oh, so it makes it simple for the person.
Yeah.
If they really want to get it, they can get it. That's interesting, though. But you love what you do? Mm-hmm. Coming from Texas. You like it better here than Texas?
I do.
Yeah. How'd you get into so much water stuff?
I grew up without it, so grass is always greener. You want what you don't have.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna get into the chat packs. I know I don't have you for too long, but I want to get into the chat pack with you. So what we do is we just ask random questions to each other.
Okay.
Yeah. So I ask you one, you ask me one. We just go back and forth about.
I like it.
6 or 7, just to break it up a little bit, rather.
Okay.
So.
I'm just gonna grab a chunk so I.
Yeah. Do your thing. So in your opinion, which month of the year has the best aromas?
October.
Why?
Pumpkin everything.
Oh, are you one of those girls?
Yeah. And every girl is one of those girls. Any girl who's like, I don't like it, she's lying. She loves it.
You like the pumpkin spice stuff from Starbucks?
Pumpkin spice. Yeah. It's not good for you if you know what's in those drinks. Ooh. If you could have been the leading actor or actress in any movie, which movie would you have starred in?
Oh, man.
That's a good one.
Oh, man. I'm just going to go with my favorite movie.
The Departed?
No.
I don't know. Why you look like you would love The Departed.
No, my favorite movie is The Town with Ben Affleck.
See, close enough.
It was close, but yeah, it would be probably The Town. That's my favorite movie. Everyone thinks I'm crazy when I say
You sound like Ben Affleck a little bit too.
That and American Gangster are my two.
Oh, that's a good one.
All right, so if you could own any prop that was used in a movie, which prop would you choose?
So weird. It's a really weird question.
It is.
Obviously, it would have been one of James Bond's classic cars.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't choose at the moment. I need to go back and look at all of them.
Doesn't he always drive an Aston Martin?
He does.
Yeah, okay.
Owned by Ford.
Ford owns Aston Martin?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure, I didn't know that.
And if they don't, they used to.
All right.
That's why in the newer Bond movies you see a lot of Fords as well.
With
Aston Martins, yep.
That makes sense.
All right. If you had to write a one-sentence mission statement for your life, what would that be?
Missions, this.
Like a mission.
Proceed as if success is inevitable.
Oh, I like that a lot. Did you make that up or?
No, I found it at Tuesday morning.
I look good Tuesday morning magnet.
Oh, I get a lot of stuff for Tuesday morning. Did my bulldog? That's from
yeah,
Tuesday morning.
Wow.
$4.
That's good.
Yeah, but no, I use this for. There's another question that's in one of the other chat packs. That's like if you could have a pin with 6 words on it. I said that would be what it is. I just like that one.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah, that's 6.
It's not bad. But yeah, so if you had, I'm not gonna do that one because we just asked you about the smells. If you could savor one dinner, totally free at any restaurant in the world, which restaurant would you choose?
That is also a really weird question.
Let's get rid of these. Some of them I don't like. Here's a random one.
Okay.
If your life was a weather vane, which direction would it be pointed in right now?
West.
Why?
I don't know. It's like you always go west.
All right.
All right, my turn. What is the most powerful or inspirational line you've ever heard in a movie?
I don't know.
These are thinkers.
Do you have one? Most powerful line you've ever heard in a movie?
I have one, but it's random.
What is it?
You know, in Streetcar Named Desire, Stella.
I've never seen that.
It's Tennessee Williams. It's good.
Are you like an old country girl? Do you like love your country?
I mean, if you're gonna love country, you gotta love all.
Who's your favorite country singer?
George Strait. Who's your favorite country singer?
So I didn't like country until I joined the military, but I would say my favorite country singer. I feel like you're gonna judge me on whoever I say. But
Taylor Swift. I already know the answer.
No.
He loves.
I like my favorite country song is Toby Keith's "Should Have Been a Cowboy."
Oh, that's a good song.
That's my favorite song. But I would say probably Tim McGraw, just because we have like kind of the same. I don't know if you know Tim McGraw's like life story, how he never met his dad until he was like 18. He found out when he was 11 who like his dad wasn't his real dad.
Whoa.
It's like mine. It's like identical, like the same story. So I liked him a little more when I found out about that. But I like Tim McGraw's music and stuff like that. So yeah, I would say Tim McGraw if I had to choose.
Nice.
Yeah. He's a good dude. Is it you or me? It's you.
Yours was an inspirational quote. You never told me your inspirational quote. Unless you want me to give me a new one.
Give me a new one.
All right. If you could take a boat ride around or through any city in the world, what city would you choose? If the city doesn't have a waterway, go ahead and give it one.
Oh, Jesus. Any city in the world?
These questions are great.
I know. They're kind of like crazy. I'm going to go with Tahiti just because the guy who I had on last night, Adam Lowe, said if you go anywhere in your life and you can go to Tahiti, go to Tahiti. So I'm going to say Tahiti.
Super weird because guess where I just got back from?
Oh, you went there?
I was there 3 weeks ago.
Was it nice?
It's fantastic.
He said the water, though, is a little too warm.
Okay.
Why? Well, I mean, I don't know.
I'm sorry. It's the most beautiful place in the world. The water's a little too warm.
What did you go there for? Just to dive? Or?
Yeah, I went dive. I actually sailed through the Tahitian Islands and then did a couple of dives while I was there. I was in Bora Bora and just lived my best life.
Yeah, you do. How old are you, by the way?
I'm 28.
I'm only 29, but
I
I know, but I'm just jealous. You get to do all this crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you put yourself in the situation though that you can. So.
And you can do it too. So now you can go tell whoever said Tahiti the water was too warm.
I'll tell him.
Whatever.
We can go visit him. He's at Sundara Indian restaurant.
I don't
Sunset Cliffs.
trust a white guy with an Indian restaurant.
Supposedly he's really good though. All the Indians go there.
No judgment.
All the Indians go there. All right. In your opinion, which U.S. president did more than any other to change America for the better?
Different question.
All right.
I have an answer, probably not popular.
All right. If you could introduce a brand new act to any traveling circus, what would it be?
Ooh, it would be this. And if you're listening on podcast, you cannot see this because I'm going to do it for you, for your camera. And it would be the smile frown that I know how to do. Are you ready? It's my special talent. He's ready.
Oh, wow. That would be the act you would bring?
I'd bring that, yeah.
You'd be in like the freak show. You pay like a couple dollars and you get to see the one with the
Absolutely.
beer.
I would stand and do that all day if people just gave me $1 every minute to watch me. Mm-hmm. Do it all day. Your turn.
That would be a good one.
If you could start up your own band, what type of music would you play and what would you name the group? Ah, that's a good one.
I'd probably be soft rock. What would I name the group?
Mm-hmm. So many inspirational things in your room. You could be like Front Tire or Two Horns.
Brick Monkey or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Brick Monkey.
Like
that's
Golden
a good
Elephant.
one. Golden Elephant.
I don't know. Or Snuffleupagus.
I like Snuffleupagus.
I'd go Snuffleupagus.
Yeah, that's a solid.
The Snuffleupaguses.
I would see them at Coachella.
Have you been to Coachella?
Yeah.
Do you like it? Are you into that stuff?
Straight up, I had a great time.
Yeah. Did you get a house or did you camp?
No, I camped.
All right.
Poor.
If you could introduce a brand new... I already asked you that one. Yawn. What is the most boring speech or presentation... That's fucking Some of these I'm like, I don't fucking know why they do it. So in the same day, if you could watch the sunrise in one geographic location and it's set in the other, what would the two locations be?
All right, I feel like you've got to watch the sunrise in Africa, right?
Have you been there?
No, but you've got to do it. I feel like after watching The Lion King, I want to see the sunrise in Africa, which then I would want to watch it set. Where do I want to watch it set? Somewhere cool and tropical. Then I would just probably jump over and watch it set in, like, the Maldives.
Have you been there?
I have been to the Maldives. I'm also going back next month.
How long's that flight?
It is a long flight. It's no direct. You got to take at least 2. It takes about 30 hours to get there.
Really?
Yeah. At first, I either have to fly to Shanghai or Dubai.
Out of LA?
Yeah, and then I will fly from either of those locations to Malé.
Have you been to Dubai?
I have.
Nice. I was there in 2010.
Did you like it?
Yeah, like it was different. It was
Very different.
It was very clean. A lot cleaner than I thought it was going to be, but it was just a different culture over there.
It's what I thought of it as, honestly. It felt like a giant shopping mall. A giant, very weird shopping mall. There's all these Louis Vuitton stores and all these things. And
There's
it's
a
like,
lot of money there.
There's a lot of money, but it's just like, I didn't see a lot of, like, the culture is different, but I didn't see a diversity in culture, if that makes sense. Whereas, like, you go here in San Diego, we've got, of course, like, Little Italy, we've got, like, Koreatown, we've got, like, lots of different cultures that come there. And while Dubai is culturally diverse, they kind of suppress their differences.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it was I'm sure it's definitely probably changed a lot since I've been there. I mean, we went to that big-ass mall that was there.
Totally, right there by the big...
Yeah, it's like a giant desert, and then there's just this miraculous city just put right in the middle of it and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I'd definitely go back. But I don't think
totally.
But I don't know if it's...
I wouldn't vacation there, but I would go for, like...
Couple nights.
Couple of days, yeah.
Yeah, check it out.
Like Vegas. You go, you see it, it's hot. There's not a lot of... drinking, I know that.
Have you been to Shanghai before?
I have.
And stayed there?
I have.
I heard that's a good time too.
Shanghai is a great city, and here's why. You hear about China, and you have an idea of what China is like, because you only know what you kind of hear, at least me growing up in Texas and spending what time I have here, but when I went, it's like the United States, completely, but it is Chinese.
Yeah.
Like, the buildings are great, there's sidewalks, there's, like, things are very normal. It's not what you imagine. I think, like, Beijing is a little different. I understand, like, it's a little more polluted, obviously, air-wise, but Shanghai is on the coast, so it's clear and it's beautiful, and when I was there, it was sunny, and I was like, man, this is a great city.
Where would you say is your most favorite place traveled?
This is an answer I think surprises people. I really love New Orleans.
Out of the
world. If someone's like, where do you want to go tomorrow? I'd be like, let's go to New Orleans.
Why?
I like the people. I like the hospitality. I like the craziness. I like the variety. There's a lot always going on there.
Yeah, I've never been. I've only heard good things.
You should go.
About New Orleans.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good spot.
It's a good time.
Yeah, they got good, what are the beignets?
Oh, the beignets.
Is that what they're called, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's probably a good time. Sugar. Yeah, we've been talking about going there for a while, but we're going to Europe in October, so I'm thrilled. I've been there a lot, but...
Europe's cool. Where in Europe are you going?
We're going. I have family from England, and then we're going to England for a couple of days, and then going to Paris for a couple of days.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. I've been to both of them, so, but it'll be fun. Yeah, I'm not looking forward to the flight. Luckily, we're breaking it up because my cousin's getting married, so we're going back home to New Jersey and then flying out to New York like a day and a half later. Doing a red eye, be hungover.
Yeah, right.
On the plane, hopefully sleep a little bit, but yeah, it's just so New Orleans.
I love New Orleans.
All right. Not bad. You're up.
Let's see. If you could safely experience anything at all, maximum speed. Example, downhill skiing, what would you choose?
Anything human possible.
At maximum speed, as safe as possible.
I'd probably be on a boat just as fast as it can possibly. Like, like a faster cigarette boat or something like that.
That would be rad.
Yeah, because I mean I've been in cars that have gone pretty fast, but I think just you're always a little nervous on the ocean with the waves and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
But if that was no problem, I'd probably do like a cigarette boat full throttle.
Totally.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good one. But I don't know what else would be full speed. I mean, you're on an airplane.
You know what I was thinking? I was thinking of the guy who jumped basically out of outer space into the United States, or into the...
Oh, the highest jump with Red Bull or whatever?
That Red Bull guy. That's what I'm thinking of.
That
thing was crazy.
Yeah. I couldn't do that. Have you been skydiving before?
I have. But at that level of, like, just, can you imagine? You're literally at the point where you can see that you are into outer space. And you are going in. Amazing.
Yeah, and I remember watching it because I have, like, the live feed. And how he's just, like, sitting there and he's just creeping up higher and higher and higher and higher. And then he just, like, doesn't even jump off. He pretty much just steps off the platform. And he's like... And then I guess he came to back. And he
definitely passed out.
Yeah, you have to because you're going so fast.
Oh, yeah.
Man, would you do that, though, if you had the opportunity to train and do that?
If I had the opportunity to train and do it, I absolutely would. But I feel like I can it sounds weird, but I feel like I can almost imagine that moment of being on the edge of something and having to do it and being like, wow, this is crazy. And not really thinking about how crazy it really is until you get there and you're looking down and being like, this is it.
Did you do tandem skydive? Or
I did do tandem, yeah.
Have you done it by yourself?
No, I'm not trained
Would you or
that.
no?
You know, I probably would. There's some, like, cool skydiving things I'd love to do on my own, but it's expensive. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah. Pack your chute and stuff like that. What's the craziest thing you've done extreme-wise like that?
I don't know. I went up in this, like, aerobatic plane. That was pretty great, and they let me take the controls, and I was, like, flipping it around.
Yeah.
I also bungee jumped. I've done some crazy stuff.
Nothing too crazy, though.
Yeah, nothing.
Those planes were cool, though.
Planes are...
Yeah. So, all right. I got a couple more, and we'll wrap this up for you, and then you got to go hit some balls. But if any TV show has been off the air for at least 10 years and you could have a reunion show, what cast would you like to see come back together one more time?
That's a hard question. I'd probably... And I'm going to say this TV show because it's the only one that's coming to mind, but I'm sure there's way better shows that I should think of. I'm just thinking of Friends.
All right.
Yeah. Everyone loves Friends.
Yeah, I never got into Friends.
Yeah, it's one of those shows you could put on and then just, like, get on your phone and not watch.
Yeah, and just listen in the background and stuff like that. It's like The Office. But
The Office.
Every time I watch The Office, I just laugh. It doesn't matter how many times I watch it.
Don't let this one stump you. If you had to be a different type of tree in each of the 4 seasons, which tree would you be in each season? You want me to ask you a different one?
Give me a different one.
If you were elected mayor, president of your own town, what would be your first major act?
First major act. On PB, I'd be like, no parking tickets. My first major act? I'd say bring drinking back to the beach.
Nice.
Yeah,
That's a solid...
I'd say bring drinking back to PB.
Yeah. For somebody who needs no more drinking.
Yeah, but I'd say bring it back. Because supposedly when you could drink on the beach here, you couldn't even see the sand.
Oh, really?
It was a spot to be.
I mean, you can still drink on the beach.
Yeah, but it was legal. There's no problem. Now it's
we wouldn't have to worry about it.
Well, it's like ridiculous that you can ride a scooter and you get a $240 ticket if you don't have a helmet on. Shit like that, it's just another way for the city to make money. But I'm not going to get into that. But I think if they brought back the drinking, if you look at like pictures from, I think it was like 2005, and there was like this huge incident which happened, which like an ATV got put into the ocean by a cop because the tide took it out. Some guy thought it's a long story, but that's the whole reason why they're not allowed to drink on the beach.
I need to research the story.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, the story that happened. But I would bring back boozing on the beach. Yeah, because supposedly it was like fucking awesome. You don't have to worry about it. Like, just don't bring glass and bring a 30 rack, and you just party on the beach all night.
Yeah, but the thing is, people are not smart. People will bring glass. People don't respect... The thing right now that's driving me nuts, And I like them. I think the idea is cool. The bird bikes, the line bikes, I think they're cool actually, but people don't respect it because it's not their property. And so I've seen them thrown
100%.
into streets. I've seen them thrown down cliffs. And if you do that, I will say this clearly, you're a fucking asshole.
100%.
You are the worst person if you do that.
They have Instagrams that are made. There's guys that just take. I do the Beach and Bay Press. I do their like weekly video cast, and these guys just like pick up the birds and they're just throwing them over the seawall. Like,
it's awful.
They just be walking and they just do it. It's the worst thing. Like today I was running down whatever fucking street is, and I'm running on the bay and they have the cliff and there's just like one of those yellow bikes just like flipped upside down, just laying on the side of the cliff, and it's like, just put the kickstand up and put it on. I don't understand. But people are, it's getting out of control with people. People are cutting the brake lines for them, so now they have to make new ones where the brake lines are in between.
Oh my god.
It's nuts.
That's not right. And I even, I read an article. It said something like Line Bikes paid almost $10,000 basically to repo and fix bikes broken down in San Diego. It doesn't surprise me. But I was walking in OB the other day. I watched someone throw one in the street. I basically turned over to him and said, "Hey, I live here," grabbed it out of the street, looking at him furiously the whole time, brought it, put it on its kickstand, and walked away. I was like, why? There's no need to do that. That's our PSA of the day.
I think you're right, though, when you say people don't respect them because it's not...
It's not their property.
Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, though.
But I'm officially saying bad karma to anyone who does that.
100%.
You get bad karma.
100%. There's no need... The scooters are the worst, I think, because the scooters... Or like they throw the bikes up in trees, and it's just the things you see on like Pacific Beach Instagram and stuff. It's crazy.
Homeless people need those bikes. First off, if a homeless person takes that bike, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's a little different in my head, but if you're one of those people just destroying it for no reason, we're over it.
It's not cool anymore, man. All right, don't fuck with the bikes.
Don't mess with our bikes.
All right. If you could receive a gift as one piece of jewelry, regardless of cost, what would it be?
That necklace from Titanic, if it exists.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember if it actually does. It doesn't. There's
ocean?
something close. It was inspired by something, whatever. That big old blue diamond.
All right.
I totally wear that.
Did you see Ocean's 8?
I haven't.
Oh, there's like a necklace in there that makes the heart of the ocean look stupid. I guess it's a real necklace from some like famous jewelry shop in New York City, and they had to like go like down into the vault in the basement, like it's pretty cool, but I don't know. I forget what it's like. Maybe Michael Cordier. Is that a Cordier or something like that? Something like that. But
Cartier.
Cartier. That's who it is. But it's like 50, 60 years old. But
here's the difference. If you're destroying and stealing bikes, that's bad. But if you're stealing high-end jewelry or paintings, kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you shouldn't do that. You're getting caught and arrested. But kind of a cool.
Yeah, that movie's cool. That movie's really good.
What is the best meal that you've ever eaten?
I'm going to say my best meal lately that I've eaten, because I've eaten a lot of good food. I love Peter Luger's in New York City. If you're ever in Brooklyn, you should go there. It's like the best steakhouse ever. But I would say the best meal that I've had in a long time would probably be Costa Brava. Have you had Costa Brava?
I've heard of Costa Brava.
It's real. So I didn't know what Spanish tapas were. And she'd been begging me to go there forever, and I was like, eh. And then our buddy, we had like an old friend in town, and a crew of us went there, and I was like, all right. And she was phenomenal. She's like, yes, we're finally fucking going. You got to go. You know, people made the reservation, and we went, and it is all like Spanish tapas, and it is phenomenal.
All right.
It's really good. If you go there, you got to get the espresso martini. Apparently is like phenomenal.
Okay.
I'm not into espresso, but supposedly it's really good. But everything on the menu there, if you just order tapas and you go to like a good group of people, just have a good time, phenomenal.
That's great.
Yeah, and the service is phenomenal. It's really authentic, like good. I'm pretty sure it's Spanish food from Spain, so it's like,
amazing.
But it's really good.
Cool.
So I would say Costa Brava probably in the past year and a half.
Cool.
Yeah. Good spot. I got one more for you.
All right.
If you could have served on the jury for any trial, which one would you choose?
This is a weird question, but I did I was a reporter on a really difficult story in Palmdale where this mother and her boyfriend tortured her little boy to death, basically, and he died. And if I could have been on their jury, I would have loved to put them away. Bad
Did they?
People.
Get put?
They did. The convictions came down just a couple of months ago. So if you can imagine, this is something that happened in 2012.
Yeah.
This very terrible thing, and the convictions just came down. This is 2018.
That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? It takes that long.
It takes that long because you just file shit and
yeah,
it's not fair.
Bureaucracy of it. Their convictions were pretty harsh. I think they're still waiting. They were guilty. I don't know if they're gonna get the death penalty. I don't in California. I forget if we even have it, and we may not. But it was awful.
Yeah, that's terrible. How old
Sorry
was the
to
boy?
bring
Was he a young,
down
toddler?
He was 10.
Yeah, it's not fucking cool.
No, he was 10. And this happens a lot. And there's a story that we've been following now of 11 starving kids were found in a compound in New Mexico. And they were being trained, they were starving to death, and they were being trained to take out and carry out school shootings. And one of the kids died, and that's the father, I think.
This is recent?
Yeah, this was found like the beginning of the week, Monday. They found these kids in the compound. They were being starved to death. They said all they found was one box of rice, plenty of guns, plenty of ammunition, and then they found the body of a 3-year-old that they were looking for on the property. And that's how. Sorry to bring you guys down, but this is the reality of the world we live in sometimes.
That's fucking crazy. I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's awful. So 4 people are in jail right now for that, and
good. They should be.
I hope that they, can't do that.
Get justice served.
We get some weird, it's not weird, but like it becomes like we hear these things all the time and you're just like, it wears you down a little bit.
I can imagine because you guys get everything.
I brought the podcast down real quick with the jury
question.
Ask me
a good question.
Yeah, let's end it on something like way funnier. All right, if you could kill one person, no, just kidding.
Wow.
If you could make one artistic change to a famous piece of art, what would it be?
I'm not an artist.
Oh, okay.
I don't fucking know.
I thought you'd like draw a mustache on Mona Lisa.
Oh my god, I was seriously gonna say that.
That's what we would do.
Supposedly,
mustache.
I heard this thing that that the Mona Lisa is supposed to be like this is conspiracy theory that the Mona Lisa is supposed to be. I think Michelangelo painted the Mona Lisa, but whoever painted it's supposed to be him in drag.
Yeah.
And that the word
Leonardo
for painting in
in
French translates to like fake or something like that, or like phony in American. So it's like I don't know. It was interesting. But all right, yeah, ask me one more.
All right, I actually like this one, so I'm excited to hear your answer. If you were on a scuba diving expedition, what would you absolutely have to see for your experience to be complete?
Sea turtle.
Really?
Yeah, I saw one in my life, like in the wild.
Does it?
Yeah, I went when we pulled out for my first deployment. This is like 2010, and I just so happened to like look over the side of the ship, and he was just floating, and I was just like, wow.
You can see them here.
Where?
They like to feed on the seagrass in La Jolla Shores, especially
at the cove.
Yeah.
How far out do I gotta go though?
Not very. I mean, do you snorkel?
Yeah, I'm a snorkeler. I got equipment.
I would go out. Now's a good time because the tiger sharks are out. Sorry, not tiger, the lemon sharks.
Yeah, go out there with the tiger sharks.
Sorry, lemon sharks. They're out. And the sea turtles. I've seen one time out there, but
cool, I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, you can see them.
I didn't know that.
Hello, sea grass.
Interesting, but yeah, sea turtle would make it for me.
That's
like
cool.
some crazy fish, but if I saw a sea turtle, that would put the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
I have one more question for you before we wrap this up.
Okay.
Do you have a favorite newscaster or someone that like you look up to, or late night host or talk show guy or anything like that, or gal?
I do. It is John Oliver.
All right.
I think what he's done with Last Week Tonight is fabulous. I love it. My friend is actually a producer over there, and I get really jealous because he does the "And Now This" segment, so he produces those, and I'm just so thrilled with like the success they've had. And to me, it's one of the most unbiased and raw ways to get news, because he's really just trying to give you information and make you care, and it's not always politically charged. It could be something as simple as why you should be worried about, the toxicity of your water levels and things you may not check.
More relatable to where you're going to listen to him rather than hear. Like,
why you should care about your credit,
yeah.
Things like that, and just trying for like change nationally is a big deal.
Yeah, he's good. I always put up a fight to put him on, but then whenever we put him on, I'm just like hooked. I can't like take my eyes off TV. He's good. He's phenomenal. He was good on it. But I think he did Comedians in Cars with Seinfeld for one of the episodes.
Did he?
Yeah, but he's like,
I gotta see that one.
He's really good. If I don't mind piggybacking one more question on there, do you get? I don't want to say get annoyed, but find it frustrating when I don't want to say this the wrong way, but like a John Oliver who's British.
Yeah.
How he's having success in America or anything like that. Do you think that Americans gravitate towards that more?
I don't think Americans see it one way or another in my mind. No, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I think an American could have equal success in the UK doing something like that. And I think, we have proof that Americans have success doing it between Jon Stewart and Stephen Colbert and those kinds of things. So, honestly, I don't even realize he's British until he makes British jokes. Yeah. And then he's like, oh, the Parliament did this. And I'm like, oh, wait, what?
He's so good. I just heard that from your point of view. I wanted to hear because I heard on somebody else's podcast that I was listening to how people, like, I think it was more actors based towards were getting frustrated that, like, different ethnicities were coming over to this country and taking their roles and like playing Americans and stuff like that. I thought it was
first off.
I thought it was stupid. So I just
other ethnicity is coming over to play Americans.
Yeah, I was like, but like British actors playing Americans is like I think the thing. And I don't know where it came from, but it was on the podcast, and I wanted to.
If you're a good enough actor, then maybe you shouldn't have your job stolen by someone else.
That is correct. Well, we'll end it on that. Tabitha, thank you so much for coming on and doing this with us and making time for us on your Wednesday. But if people want to follow you on Instagram and stuff like that, and your website and all that stuff, obviously watch Fox 5. But
please watch Fox 5. Email my boss and tell him to give me a raise. You can follow me at Tabitha Lipkin on Instagram, Twitter, at Tabitha Lipkin Official on Facebook, and then my website is TabithaLipkin.com.
Yeah, so just type her name in Google and she'll take it all the other things. Yeah. But again, Tabitha, thank you so much for doing this with us tonight and coming on and hearing your story and your points of views and the chat pack questions and stuff like that. It's been phenomenal. But guys, thank you for listening. Until next time, adios.